Hey, this is Anxious Andy. I really appreciate you joining me today. This story that I'm about to share with you is absolutely horrendous. The CCTV that you're watching now is of Eltiona Skana, who was on her way to the park, basically to get a vulnerable and defenseless girl, and it's horrible. So basically, I'm going to read. There's been a catalogue of failures on this incident by the mental health services. So we're going to cover that. But what I'm going to do first is I'm going to read out what happened on that day, and then I'm going to go over the failings. And then at the end of the video, I'm going to show you the CCTV of the body cam footage of the arrest of Eltiona Skana immediately after she'd killed this little girl. So at the time of Emily's death, Skana, the perpetrator, was being cared for by the Bolton North Community Mental Health Team, which was just 2 consultant psychiatrists overseeing 855 patients. Staff use a traffic light system, with red being higher risk cases and green for more stable patients. Skana was recorded as being in the green. Greater Manchester Mental Health Trust declined to answer any questions about this, but like I said, leaked documents have come out, and we can now reveal a lot more of the failings. Trust Chief Executive Neil Thwaite said, "We recognise the devastating impact of Emily's death has had on everyone who knew and loved her, and we offer our heartfelt condolences, blah, blah, blah." You know, obviously that's not going to bring her back. They've refused to apologise, though, to her father, Mark, with this. So let's get straight into it. So on that fateful day, Emily was wearing a navy jacket with red and white spots. 7-year-old Emily Jones was a blur that she zipped up and down on her scooter on a glorious sunny afternoon in the Queen's Park in Bolton. Her father, Mark, encouraged her to go faster, and as he scanned the park for Emily's mother, Sarah, who was jogging in the park. It was Mother's Day. Sarah was going for a run in the park in the afternoon, and Mark and Emily were planning to watch her jogging before buying an ice cream. I can remember saying to Emily, "Go on, you can do a faster lap," because I used to time her from one end to another. Mark said, "Right, we're going to see Mummy, and then once we've seen Mummy, we'll go for an ice cream." And she was like, "Yes, brilliant." And that was it. What happened next transformed the Victorian Park into a scene of unimaginable horror and shattered Mark and his family's lives forever. Emily spotted Sarah, 42, running along the bottom of the hill and excitedly said, "Daddy, Daddy, I want to go to Mum." Mark, 49, replied, "Of course," and she shot off down the path that snakes its way down the hill. But as Emily sped towards Sarah, calling out, "Mummy, Mummy, Mummy," to attract her attention, a lone figure sitting on a bench jumped up and grabbed her, put her in a headlock and cut her throat with a craft knife. Sarah, who was wearing headphones, had not seen or heard Emily and kept running, oblivious to the appalling scene happening behind her. Mark, who was 200 yards away, initially thought his daughter had fallen off her scooter and that the figure holding Emily was helping her, until a woman nearby shouted, "She's been stabbed." He sprinted to his grievously wounded daughter, but a psychotic attacker had already thrown Emily to the ground and ran off. Mark cradled Emily from behind and shouted for help. "I ran for Emily," he said, leaning forward and speaking quietly. I was absolutely terrified. I just knew it was so bad. You don't survive these sort of things. I just thought, oh my God, I'm going to lose her. I'm going to lose her. I was just shouting, just stay with me, Emily, don't leave me. She was just trying to breathe. It was horrific. I wouldn't wish it on anybody. See, on occasions I will go back there. I try not to, but I just can't. Can just remember her trying to breathe. Just to see your child in that way, I thought, this can't be happening. This can't be happening to Emily. He frantically phoned Sarah, who was still running and unaware of the attack. I called and said, come back, we've just seen you. Emily's been stabbed. Mark recalled by then a passerby with a t-shirt to try and stem the bleeding, while a nurse who had been in the park had taken over first aid. Emily was flown by air ambulance to Salford Royal Hospital, but died an hour after her arrival. Eltiona Skana, a paranoid schizophrenic, was convicted of manslaughter with diminished responsibility, and prosecutors dropped a murder charge on the 7th day of a trial at Minshall Street Crown Court in Manchester. Mark blames a string of failures by mental health staff for leaving a dangerously psychotic woman free to kill his daughter. He is shocked that more effort was not made to check that she was taking her antipsychotic medication, and that she was assessed only once in the 3 months leading up to Emily's death. They knew she didn't comply with oral medication, but they allowed her to take it on her own volition. That is a ridiculous thing to do, he said. She was a ticking time bomb. He's also furious that a review from the local NHS Mental Health Trust came to the astonishing conclusion that Emily's death could not have been predicted or prevented. You can't possibly write all these failings and then sum it up at the bottom with, think this incident was not preventable. It's absolute nonsense. They are just trying to relinquish all responsibility, and it is their responsibility. I want the horrible story of what happened to my daughter to be told. It was Mother's Day of all days, when Mum and Dad were in the park with her. It's not that I want people to feel sorry for us, but it needs to be told because it's an absolute public outrage. Mark, a credit manager for a law firm, and Sarah, a solicitor, separated when Emily was 3, but they remain good friends and live 5 minutes from each other on the outskirts of Bolton. It's just an horrendous attack story, and what I'm going to do now is I'm going to read you out the failings, and there really are failings, and I don't think this story is getting enough publicity and awareness. I'm just going to read you a few of the failings here. 3 years before Emily's brutal death, Skana had threatened a 13-year-old girl while possibly armed with a knife, but this disturbing incident was not included in her risk assessments. Another one, Skana was twice detained in psychiatric hospitals before killing Emily, but repeatedly escaped. Another one, her mental state was assessed just once in the 3 months before she killed Emily. Another one, Skana had a long history of violence, including wielding a knife and a brutal attack on her mother. Another one, clinicians reluctantly bowed to her demands and changed her medication to less effective drugs, despite concerns that her condition would deteriorate. Another one, her sister warned staff early on in her illness that Skana refused to take her antipsychotic tablets. A month's supply of unused medication was found at Skana's flat after she killed Emily. Anyway, I really want to know what you think of this story in the comments below. And please don't forget to like, comment, share and subscribe. I'm now going to show you the CCTV.
Yeah. Hands.
Turn over.
Take the bag down.
Wait. Let me take your bag off.
Yes.
Stay still.
Okay.
Hands behind your back.
Thank you.
I think she's killed someone. Have you seen a child anywhere? Is she on her own?
No, everyone's with her.
Right. The child's down there.
Get down there quick.
The ID for Kilo.
Yes, it's in my bag. Everything.
What is?
In my bag, ID, everything.
Go ahead.
This female is now in cuffs. She has said there's a white ID in her backpack, which is by the side of her backpack.
What's in your backpack?
ID and everything.
ID.
Yes, and the knife.
And a knife.
And a knife. 15. That's a Kilo.
Yeah, I'm turning out now.
15.
Right, the time now is 14:45. At this moment in time, you're under arrest on suspicion of attempted murder. You do not have to say anything, but it may be defensive if you do not mention something when questioned that you later rely on in court, and if you do so, may be given evidence. Okay? Your arrest is necessary to protect vulnerable people and to ensure a prompt and effective investigation into this offence.
Yeah.
Okay? What's your name?
Eltiona Skana. Eltiona Skana.
Okay. Where do you live?
19 Turnstone Road.
19 Turnstone.
Yes.
Right, just wait there. Just confirm to me what's inside your bag.
You can control. It's just no bombs, no nothing.
No
It's just
bombs.
my ID card.
ID card.
In my mom's ID card.
Yeah.
There is a knife, some water, some juice.
Okay.
Nothing.
Okay, that's it. So there's
That's
nothing
it.
that's going to
Nothing in
harm
the
me, no?
bag. No.
Okay.